Hey, welcome back, guys. All right, so far we have a nice right-click menu here, which works. Both buttons work. But then we have the main menu over here, which none of these buttons actually work. So let's start by making this reload data actually work. So I want us to be able to reload the data directly from the database. So let's go to our text editor here, and we go to our main.javascript. And if we look here, the way we are loading our image is by using send data read, just like this. This is the function that loads the data originally. So all we need is to run this function the way it is, just like this, and that is it. So if I go to my index.php, index.html, sorry, and come here where there is the main menu itself. So this is where it says reload data. So all I have to do is add an on-click listener and then run that function right there. Now, because there are double quotes on the outside, I cannot use those on the inside, so I have to use single quotes like that. I don't need the semicolon, and that's all I need to do. So let's try this part and see if it actually works. So if I delete some of these over here like that, and then I click reload data, you see that the data is reloaded again, which is awesome. But now what about saving the data? How exactly can we save our data? Well, in order to save our data, the first thing we have to do is actually collect the data for saving. So let's see a way we can actually do that. So one way we can do this is, let's monitor how the data is displayed here. So what I will do is I'm going to right click inspect element. I'll right click obviously away from the table, because otherwise if I do it here I get the menu. And then I go to the inspector, and down here I go to where the table is, and I go to the table body, and in here you see there are rows in here. So there's table row, and you can see them as I hover on this. Excuse me. Now if I go through inside one of these, let me try and zoom in a bit, like so. So if I go into one of these, you see that what's happening here is that inside the T body there's table rows, these elements here. So these are the direct children of T body, and then inside each one of these there is table data, which contains information here. So the most important information here is the inner HTML of this table data, which is the actual text that we have in there, and then we have the column name for that particular value. So this is like the key of this value. This is the key, that's the value. So what we need are key value pairs, and this is how we're going to get them. So the first thing we need to do is grab the JS T body, and then get the children in here and loop through them, and then get each one of these and collect the data. So let's see how we can go about doing that. So I'm going to create a function here to do just that. So let's see how we can do something like that. So I'm going to go down here and create a function called collect data. So let me go down to the very end here. Let's say function collect underscore data, like so. Okay, so here what I want first of all is to get the T body. So I'm going to say var T body is equal to document dot query selector, and I want to get the JS. It's dot JS T body, like so. And then all I need now is to loop through the T body children, T body dot children dot, I think that's about it. Okay, so each one of these is a table row. So we're going to loop through each one of these as well. So once I grab one of these, I'm going to do another loop in there. So I'm going to say for and then put that there. So now we're going to have the children I, and then we can't have I over here and I over here. So I'm going to change this other I to an X, like so, X, 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 and then let's put X at the end there, like so. Okay, so T body children I X may be confusing a little bit, but no, this is the I for the row and this is the I for the table data. So what I'm going to do now is create a few, so first of all, I'm going to create an array. Let me create, let's see, var, I don't know what to call it. I'm just going to call it data is equal to an empty array, like so. And then in here, I'm going to create var. Actually, let me do it here, the declaration. So var, I'm just going to say object is equal to an empty object, like so. And then here, I'm just going to copy this part and just set, this is like where we reset the object to an empty object and then start adding items in here. So here I will say object is equal to, now say object dot, right? Now the item that I want to put here, I want to do it like, let's go back here for a second. I want this one to be like dot employee number, dot last name, dot first name, but I don't know what these values are. We can imagine I don't know what they are. I just know that they are in column name. So I have to capture that, I have to capture this column name and provide it as the key to this object. So how do I do that? I'm going to say var column name. Let me just do that. Column is equal to, and it's going to be equal to, now the thing is, this is the table data. So I'm just going to do that. Dot get attribute. The attribute is going to be column name. Let's see if that's actually what it is. So it's column name with all small letters. So let's come back here for a second and change that to that. Okay, like so. So now I have the column here, but then how do I set it to this object? So I'm going to use, because I can't do dot column name column like that, because I don't want to use the text column. I want to use the contents of the text of this column text. So instead I will put a square bracket like so and say object column, whatever that column name is equal to this, the children X. This is simply the table data. So what I want is the inner HTML of that, like so. So once I do all this and then I am done looping through here, when I get to the very end, I will add my object to data. Now data is an array, so I want to say data dot push to add the object. So I'm going to push the object. Once I push the object, it's in there, and then we repeat the process where I empty the object and add more data to it and then push it back. So this happens once per row. This happens once per table data. It loops through the one row. This loops through all the rows. All right, so I think at this point, let me go to the very end here and just do a console.log. I want us to see what we've collected, so I'm going to collect to export the data. Now it's important that I assign what's this, collect data to the key here, save data the way it is there, and then on click I'm going to assign collect data like so. Now the thing is, sometimes you may not want to you may want to ask the user a question. Are you sure you want to save? So that is easy to do. We do that by creating a confirm box. So we're going to say confirm, and then we'll put our question. Are you sure you want to save this data? Question mark. And this returns a true or false depending on what the user has chosen. So we'll put it inside an if statement. Since it returns true or false, we can use it to ask the question if, like so. So if confirm, which means it's true, but we want to only do an action when it's false. So put a exclamation point there, and then just say if not confirm. If the user did not confirm, then return. That way we don't do anything if the answer was no. So we'll leave the console on there, and I'll go here and I'm going to say save data, then say are you sure you want to save? If I cancel, nothing happens. Let's try again, and then if I click OK, then I get the array that I created. So let's see what's inside the array. So inside, you see there are objects in here. Then let me click inside the object. I see there is actually nothing inside the object. So we have a problem here. The prototype are simply functions. We're supposed to have some contents, and it seems the objects are empty. So since the objects are empty, let's see what is going on here. So I think here what is happening is for yeah, I think here I missed something. I'm supposed to add children x and children again dot length, something like so. And then yeah, maybe that's what I needed to do. Even here I needed to add dot children, because this t-body children x, I could save myself the trouble by assigning these to variables, but let's see if I can pull it off without having to do that. Like this. Let's see if that works out. So let's refresh the data and save again. Okay, so let's try again now, and voila, it has actually worked. So now I have an object in here that has these things like employee number, first name, last name, file, job, office code, reports to. So it has everything up to the very last item here, which is job title. Is it? Where is job title? Okay, job title is right there. So all the columns have been collected and all the data is collected just fine. So now what I need to do is send this data to the correct place. So now the same way we send this other data, where is send data here? Anyway, let me use find. I'm going to say send underscore data, like that. So I want to find the function. That's where it is. So data is equal to that, and then when we get here, we stringify data and we send it. So this is all good, ready to go. So all I need to do now is to say send data and send my array in there. So here, instead of console.log, I'm going to say send underscore data, and then I will send that data over there. But I need to also provide a type, right? And where is this? How come there is no type here? Anyway, this is weird. Okay, so send data, and there's actually no type. How did I send? Oh, okay, so it's the same object, data type read. Okay, so I have to concatenate data type and give it a value of some kind. So what I will do is copy that, come down here. So once I get to this point, I will need to add some info here. So how do I do that? Well, I'm going to say data dot. Now data is an array. So all I can do is push in some data there. So I want to push save, like so, a data type. Now I can't put it the way it is like this. This has to be an object, so I'll do that. Okay, great. Now, for me to be able to read on the other side, I need to know the difference between this one and some of these. So we'll see how we're going to process that data once it is sent to the other side for processing. So everything is done here. All we need to do now is go to the PHP side and try to make sense of the data that has been sent over there. All right, so let's do that in the next video.